Hang on.
Welcome back to Market Conversations. I'm your host, Jerry Hall. I will be joined by Jeff, producer extraordinaire. And tonight, we will be talking about the Ripple Q1 markets report. We're going to talk about the implications of Sygnum Bank in Switzerland, adding support for XRP and all the implications that come with that, as well as diving into the World Bank's blockchain token trial, all that and a whole lot more. Hit it.
And now, Jerry Hall and XRP Carolina on the chain.
Sitting in for Carolina tonight, we've got Jeff on the ones and twos. How you doing tonight, Jeff?
What's good, Jerry? It's awesome.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, there is some good stuff to talk about. Now, as well as having these incredible topics to share, we want to invite you, our audience, from the chat. If you want to come on the stream, it's super easy. You can come on. Jeff will make sure that you get a link. You just have to be following our On the Chain Twitter account, and we can DM you a link. We can even do it through email if that's the necessary way to get it done. But we can get you in here, and you can share your questions or your comments live with us in studio. We'll also be working the chat. and doing a whole bunch of great stuff. Jeff, did I leave anything out? Help me out, brother.
Man, I think you covered everything. This is awesome. I'm looking forward to tonight. Man, this is your second live stream here on the chain. I'm fired up.
Oh man, this is incredible. The sheer weight of the content, the implications of these topics that we're covering tonight are just phenomenal. I'm thinking, where do we start? I'd kind of like to jump off with this bad boy right here. This is that Sygnum Bank adds support for XRP. Now, what I think is revolutionary about this is, number one, they're an online bank out of Switzerland, right? And for them to not only have an exchange element, but they're also having a custody element and the ability to secure your funds in a regulated banking environment. Although it is an online bank, I'm telling you, I think it's the first domino of many more dominoes to come. Jeff, you got a spin on this?
Man, you know what? I think this is outstanding. I'm really fired up to see things like this happening. As we've known, Switzerland is definitely ahead of the curve with what's going on. But online banking coming out like this, and then adding support for XRP at the banking level. It's one thing being an online bank. We're getting used to that concept. There's a lot more online only banks, but now incorporating digital asset, crypto, man, it's a game changer.
I think so too. And there's a really interesting kind of partnership with Sygnum, and I mess up the pronunciation all the time.
Is that
Sygnum Bank and the Swiss 6 Stock Exchange.
There we go.
And
that's a mouthful.
I mean, it's we're connecting dots when we start talking about tokenized equity offerings and things like that. So I don't want to get too far down that path. But you know what? Why don't we take a second and acknowledge the incredible people that have joined us tonight? I see Connie and I see Jared XRP and XRP. Hey, Carolina, my brother, Digital, Tina Hall, When Mullet. Hey. Did I miss any, Jeff? Can you help me out?
Who else we got over here? Man, we got so many people popping in. It's great. I see Richter over here. Glad to see Richter bouncing in. Man, we scroll back. I'm going all the way back up to the beginning, and there's one adult in the room. So I just wanted to point that out.
That's important. Vet, bro. Hey, Vet, what's happening, man? Nice to see you. BZ Comedy Channel's in the house. Hey, folks, this show is different than your normal streams. Now, you'll see a lot of YouTubers starting to use this platform because it has some really nice functionality to it. For instance, I just press a button and bang, what you put in the chat comes on the stream for everybody to see. So if you have a question, a comment, something you want the world to know about, put it in the chat. Jeff will pop it on the screen. We'll get to it. Maybe it's you're adding something to the conversation than what we've got going on right now, or you bring up something that's even more interesting than what we're talking about, and by all means, we'll be on it. So, interact. That is what this is all about. Now, we have this other incredible topic here, Jeff. Now, this one here is all near and dear to our hearts. This is the Q1 2020 Ripple Markets Report. Now, Jeff, did you get a chance to browse through this?
I tried to bruise through it too, but no, I actually haven't had a chance to look at it yet. But man, fill us in a little bit on what's in it.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that I believe is the pinnacle of this particular report, and believe me, they do a nice job with some editorial in the beginning of the report. But if you scroll down, like let's say you went to ripple.com and you went to Insights and you found the Q1 2020 report, and you go down and take a look at the sales. These are XRP sales in the form of millions, okay? So for instance, Q4 2019, Ripple sold $13.8 million worth of XRP, which was a dramatic decrease from previous quarters, right?
That's true. Yeah. And now
Right.
didn't they just released another billion, I think, is that yesterday or today?
Escrow is going to do that on the first of the month if somebody triggers it. Check this out. Total sales, Q1 2020. Now keep in mind, Q4, 13.8 billion, which was a reduced number from previous quarters. Q1 2020, 1.75 billion. It's a 90% reduction.
Yeah, that's nice.
Now, for those of us that look at things like supply and demand, if we were to say that there is a consistent demand pressure, even with the small ODL corridors that are in place right now, if there is a consistent demand on the market and the retail speculation roughly stays the same, right? Let's say that stays static, even though it's really hard to gauge if it will or won't. Then just by the nature of the demand shortage or restriction, we should start to see over the next couple of weeks an increase in valuation as the current supply of XRP is getting taken out of the order books of the various exchanges. You following me on that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Any comments from the chat? Anybody?
Well, you know what? I wanted to pull up a few things. I didn't want to distract from the conversation here, but I got to put this one up.
Who's down with XRP?
Down with XRP. I like that.
I'm down with it.
All right. Now let's follow it up with this one, from BZ Comedy. Love how this channel is evolving. It's amazing, what goes into the production value of putting all this together. If they only saw the behind the scenes, what goes on in the green room, disaster.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't go as far as a disaster, but it is interesting as somebody who came into the party with OTC after its inception, right? There is, I saw an evolution before I even came here, right? And I didn't get here till January of this year, but it is incredible that we're continuing to try new things, press a little harder, push ourselves a little harder, try new formats, try new platforms, try new things to create, a deeper level of engagement with the audience, because that is really what this is about.
That's right.
Interaction, whether it be between Jeff and I, or Carolina and I, or Jeff and Chip, or whoever. The ability to have that kind of interplay with each other is wonderful. But now being able to really take it to the audience and give the audience literally a front row seat. If you want, is there anybody in the stream tonight? See, I can't see this chat. That Jeff has got the chat thing on lockdown.
We got it controlled. We don't let Jerry see the chat.
Yeah, I'm not allowed.
That'd be a bad combination.
I'm not allowed to tinker in that area. Is there anybody in the chat that would like to come on and talk about the Sygnum Bank news this week? Talk about the Ripple Q1 report. Talk about the World Bank's blockchain token trial. Talk about anything related crypto. I invite you to submit your Twitter address. Or actually, Jeff, let you explain it. You're handling it.
Yeah, so I was about to mention. So if you guys want to come on, and actually we're waiting for a guest tonight to come on. I don't know if Rain is out there in the OTC universe somewhere, but waiting for him to come in. If you guys want to come in and participate in the chat, let us know, and we'll send you a DM via Twitter. If you're not following on the chain, let us know, and we'll make sure that you follow on the chain, and that way we can send you a DM with a direct link so you can get in here. That's what you need to do. So let us know. You guys can raise your hand. I don't know how you do that, but just let us know. Type it in there and say, hey, I want to come on OTC. Say it just like that. Put it in caps. Hey, I want to come on OTC, and we'll get you in here. So, but with that, man, let's what is this? What's this next thing here?
Well, this third topic, this This is really fascinating to me. And that is the World Bank using a blockchain with tokens to issue its loans to countries who are applying for loans for infrastructure projects. That's primarily what the World Bank has been doing, aside from the times that they do bailouts for like when Greece went crazy. Remember back then? But
Right.
The World Bank has been working on this pilot, to tokenize the funds that they're lending countries for their infrastructure projects, because they are acknowledging that there is mismanagement of funds, that there is corruption. Like when they give Haiti a loan to do a highway, and the contractors who are getting the bids aren't necessarily getting all the money. You know what I mean? It seems a lot of it keeps getting funneled back to the labor secretary and the and the president and all the people that hold elected offices. It's really crazy. I mean, and then to some degree, Jeff, I think you would concur with this. It's systemic throughout all government. That anytime you have what we would call funding projects, there's funds go to places they weren't designed to go to. Is that a politically correct way to say it?
That's a nice way of saying it, but say it ain't so. Don't tell me that the government has some levels of corruption in it.
Unfortunately, I have to believe that it's true. It's sad, and I really love the transparency of blockchain and the ability to audit the flow of funds all the way down to the bottom level guy in the construction company who sweeps and picks up the garbage at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Through the tokenization and having it all be on the blockchain. I think it's revolutionary. Right. I wish the World Bank a tremendous amount of success with this pilot, because if it goes well, I think we'll see more and more of it. And then eventually you'll see nations pick it up. And if nations pick it up on a federal level, it'll trickle down into the state level and even the municipality level. And there'll be some actual real accountable transparency in the way public funds are spent.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry, you think about that. I mean, from a government perspective, could you imagine if blockchain was in most levels of government? It doesn't have to be everywhere, but at least put it in some of the basic elements, so we can, at least have some transparency to what these are basically, the government is an extension, each individual person that is working for government is one of our employees. I guess what I'm trying to say. There's elected officials and there's paid individuals working in government. Government is a representative of us, of the people. And so if you think about it from that perspective, that having a little bit of transparency in terms of how our employees are spending our money, the tax dollars, understanding how the money gets spent on projects. And then, so you have the money element, which Jerry's bringing up. Then you have the voting element. Could you imagine if there was a little bit of transparency on the voting element, Jerry? If you talk about, the voting rolls, and then the votes themselves, and making sure that in real time you can calculate votes. I think that would be amazing.
So do I. What do you folks think? The viewers out there, who's got a take on this? Who's got a comment for this? Let's throw it up on the screen and share amongst ourselves. We're just hanging out.
There you go. See that one right there?
Yeah,
popped it up on the screen.
Channel. I heard about that. This was that news came across the wire about 7-8 days ago, where they were talking about the next round of relief funding for the citizenry would be in the form of an actual debit card. Jeff, you caught that, right?
Oh yeah. I don't like the idea at all. I don't think it's a positive. They're oversimplifying the process, or they're trying to make people adapted to something that isn't really necessary at this point, which is that debit card. What do you need the debit card for, if you have an account? And for the most part, if you're in the system as a taxpayer, you're getting money put into an account. And even if you're in the welfare system and you're receiving welfare, from the government, they're still going into an account that's payable. So the whole idea of this debit card, I'm really questioning that. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, from the perspective of somebody who's been a employed person, a responsible person, I understand that. There's another side to the coin, and that there is a tremendously large part of our population that is unbanked, that is fleeced by predatory businesses like check cashing centers and easy payday loan type businesses. And for them, having a debit card mailed to their mailing address makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, here's the question that I have on that regard, though, is, we talk about a large percentage of people that are unbanked, and that's mainly because of the way they're living. They're living, paycheck to paycheck, dollar to dollar. Maybe, they don't have that little bit extra to put in the account. However, like you're saying, they're going to check cashing stores that are paying an exorbitant amount of money for them to cash that check. Somehow they're willing to pay those fees to cash the check instead of putting their money into a bank account. Now, that's their choice. That's their lifestyle choice on how they want to do it. If you're living dollar to dollar, why would you pay, 10, 15, 20% of that check to be cashed at a store? So, I mean, that's a lot of money. So imagine, for every, $100 that you put in there, how much money are they taking? Or, are they taking $10, $20 of that $100 that's being cashed? I mean, those are exorbitant fees. And here now in this world of today where everybody's running around with a mobile phone, I mean, how many people that are in this system that are classified as unbanked, they have a mobile phone, they have access to online banking. There's a lot of banks out there that could be considered free, where you don't have to pay for them. But now I think what's even more exciting, forget about what the government's trying to convince us, but it's what you just brought up in the beginning, the Sygnum Bank and others like it that are moving into this blockchain space. What is blockchain and cryptocurrency going to bring to the unbanked? How is that going to change people's lives? That to me is amazing.
Well, again, they're barriers to entry. They're barriers to entry. An online banking solution may be absolutely wonderful for me, Mr. Jerry, who's got a passport, has legal identification, can, hurdle any KYC, AML, CMPD 36785, acronym that you throw at me. There are a lot of folks that don't. You know what I mean? And again, it's back to barriers to entry. You know what I mean? And so that's an element. I wouldn't take that off the table. I think it should be there. And there is people that make choices, right? And I think it's unfair to lump all of them in together into one pile. I think there are separate silos within that unbanked kind of world. It'll be interesting to see, though. Like, I know my son, 22-year-old son, he has no desire whatsoever to be part of the legacy banking system. He does everything through his online only bank. They have no brick and mortars. Their fees are like super low for everything. And they even pay an interest. It's like 1.375 on a savings account, which isn't a lot.
Amazing what they can do.
But that in and in itself is amazing compared to brick and mortar savings accounts.
Yeah, I agree. And you think about from a brick and mortar perspective, I'm going back up through the chat, but from a brick and mortar perspective, think about the cost that it takes to operate that brick and mortar, and now the threat, not just from the fintech online banking, but from the crypto space. But it really is exciting. I think that it's going to be dynamic. It's going to be life-changing for many. I still don't necessarily, I believe there's a lot of unbanked, and a lot of the unbanked in other countries make a lot more sense than the unbanked in the United States. You know, because the people in the United States, anybody in the United States can get a photo ID, not a problem. Other countries, 100%, it could be extremely difficult. You know, they don't necessarily have a photo ID and they don't have access to getting the bank, and they live in a cash environment, as people do here too. It's just a different dynamic. That's an interesting comment you just brought up there with Tapid Line. We haven't seen Tapid Line on for a long time. So welcome back to OTC. Welcome back to the On the Chain family. It's good to have you here.
You bet. Boy, there's a flurry of activity in the chat. I have my first time seeing this, folks. This is pretty interesting. I'll let Jeff get back to that. But the spread, the domino, like when I opened the show with, I honestly believe that this Sygnum Bank is the first domino of the banking industry taking on support for XRP. Now, you know, I don't put that much stock into, you know, when a CEO says, hey, we're really hoping to do this. You know, for instance, case in point, Brad Carlinghouse said by the end of 2020, major banks will be custodying digital assets. You know what? That'd be really great. And I think that's a very ambitious goal, but I don't take it as gospel. You know what I mean? I didn't write it down. I didn't get it tattooed on my tuchus. You know what I mean? But to see this little online bank in Switzerland start that process, what do you think the next domino will be?
Oh man,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's they're always going after something. Something's gonna fall. You know. What are your thoughts?
Well, you know, I think we should hear from the audience. I know there's got to be somebody out there that's got an opinion on this.
I'm trying to figure out who's going to come in here. We got to get. I've had a couple people that have hinted around it. We got. I saw that Carl Lewis was volunteering to come in, but then he seems to have backed out. I want to call out Carl Lewis. I want to acknowledge there's a few new people in here that we haven't seen in a while as well. We got the Crypto Camper. I don't know if you remember the Crypto Camper. It's been a while. Sure. He went on his Crypto Camper caravan tour of the U.S. I don't know how far he got, but he bought an RV and hit the road.
That a kid?
What's that?
I said, that a kid? And hey, gas prices are coming down, right?
What a time. Oh, now's the time to do it. Imagine, you know, if you did it a little bit before, now get out there now. I don't know what the gas prices out here are like, $2.20, something like that. I heard in some places they're around $1.20.
Drive, it's crazy. Young man, drive. That's my advice. Get out there and hit the open road. Yep.
So, man, what else we got here? Let's trying to hunt back up here. Something Bickerton was over here, wanted to come on. I can't find the comment. But if you do want to come on, you guys, someone's got to decide to come on the show. It'd be awesome. You guys can't hold back. You can keep posting your comments. We'll keep calling you out. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, if they don't, I don't want to force anybody to come up.
Well, we're gonna force somebody. We're gonna drag them in. They should have something here where you can drag them in. You just say, "Hey, I want this person on." Boom! All of a sudden, they're on the screen.
All right.
How great would that be?
To join us live in studio will get to name my first pet when XRP moons. How's that?
There you go. I like that.
I can throw out a little.
I bank freely, Bickerton. See, I bank freely. Was saying that he's like, maybe I should come in.
You should.
All right.
Don't be shy. This show is not a show.
What we're gonna do.
Jeff talking. This show is all about.
Apparently, it is
you, the incredible faithful out there who keep tuning in.
Yeah.
Because you got something to say. I see your Twitter.
There we go.
Feeds. I see your Facebook posts.
There you go. So if we don't have you following us on Twitter, Bickerton, go ahead and follow us, and we'll get you a DM if you want to join in. But all right, let's go on to the next topic. What else we have good? Today's like this day of amazing things. There's all these great things going on.
Well, I mean, if
a lot of great topics.
We haven't brought this up yet, And it's interesting because there's a couple sides to this coin. There's arguments on both sides of this. This Bitcoin halving that's coming up, the reduction in block rewards and what that will mean to the overall digital asset ecosystem. I find that to be an incredibly compelling story because you have, these really large mining outfits that can actually continue to mine at a loss for an extended period of time before they have to really make any hard choices. Whereas the little guy who's maybe got 6 ASIC rigs in his garage, he has to sell those Bitcoins as they're mined to cover his costs and to try to eke out a little bit of profit. But when the reward gets cut in half, what does that do to his ability to generate a profit? It decimates him. He's got no overhead. So what does a guy like that do, right? Does he become a speculator? Does he go try to get a low interest loan in the credit markets so that he can cover his costs and keep the coins that he mines in hopes that in 3 months, 4 months, the market recovers and now those coins can cover the loan that he took out plus have some profit for his family? It's a slippery slope, and I don't have the answer, but it's definitely compelling to walk down that road and do the math for both sides. I think when it's all said and done, Bitmain will continue to be the winner, and it's not going to be until some new mining operations come online that have figured out, by putting their facility directly next to power creation plants, power generators, cutting out their transmission cost fees to get their electricity cheap or literally half price and become competitive in the mining game. Until that happens, it's the big boys. It's China.
All right, we got a winner.
Do we got a winner?
We got a winner.
Oh, I like
winner.
Cool.
All right.
What do you think about that, Jeff? About the mining?
Gets in here. What's that? I kind of missed a little bit of what you were talking about on the mining. I was a little preoccupied with trying to send out the DM.
Oh no, that's fine. I was just talking about that. The halving is going to create a pressure on the mining side of this game, and I think it's going to create a pressure on the smaller entities because they just don't. They're not profitable enough to have an extended period of time go by where they're not profitable. They'll have to shut down or take loans to cover.
Yeah, man, I don't know how they're gonna manage that. You're right. I mean, as you see a decrease in, you have a decrease in the payouts. Yeah. Then how do you afford to keep on mining? It is the difficulty of it. But then with the expectation, are we expecting that you're going to see an increase in value? I think is what everybody anticipates, with this halving, that there's going to be a little FOMO ramp up. I'm still a little, uncertain as to what the final outcome is going to be, because really, and here's a good comment over here from E-Man, make Bitcoin more efficient. Here he said, I thought the hash rate is cut in half the power to mine a Bitcoin. I got to believe, so I guess as we start to really look into it, what is it going to take? Is it the efficiency of the mining of it? There's less and less of Bitcoin availability as well. But there's smarter people than I, that are out there that can probably talk about, the aspects of the mining. I'm just wondering, what's going to actually happen on the back end of it, Jerry. I'm wondering, is the halving going to be the impetus that's going to skyrocket the Bitcoin to another level, or is it actually the anticipation of the halving and the post halving and the FOMO that's going to be created from it that's going to push it to a higher level? Right now we're starting to see some movement in the space. Bitcoin was playing with that $10,000 point again, and then it pulled back. So if you're seeing a slight, push, retreat, but what's behind that? And is that the FOMO? that's going to now propel it because everyone's getting fired up. But there's all these other external factors that are going on too, that could be, impacting price movement. As we know, it's the economies around us are reeling a little bit.
Well, the two sides is obviously the mining side. And if on average, if these statistics are correct, and I believe they are, plus or minus a couple, if it's approximately 6,500 on average to mine one Bitcoin, and the price, would then need to double. So you would need a minimum of 13,000 to remain static at your overhead, right? Because the reward is cut in half. So it would need to double. For Bitcoin to get to 13,000 and hold that consistently, which is just break even on average, you're going to need another, 100 billion in market cap ish, roughly, in hope that you don't get a whole lot of holders that are selling at that price, because you want that supply to be constricted. I don't know. It's tough. And then on the retail side, Bitcoin is a tough beast to analyze, right? Unless you take a really high view. So these are things that I know as an investor. Year over year, for the last 10 years, Bitcoin makes new highs, right? Which, if you're looking at it from that view, it's like every year it gets more valuable. Okay, that's wonderful. But as a trader, it's tough because you look at it and it was only 15 days within that 10 years that all the gains were made, right? And trading is all about timing and how many people get it correct. It's it's a tough one. I see that we got a guest loading up at the green room, folks. This is going to be fun. We're going to bring on Johnny Bananas.
Let's bring him in. It looks like he's, let me try to bring him in here. Let's see.
Is he going voice only for us, Jeff? Or you think he's trying to get the visual in?
It looks like he might be voice only. Let's see what we got. That looks like voice only. Let's see. That's fine. There we go. Hey, Johnny Bananas. What's up?
How you doing, boys?
We're doing good. Hey, what do you want to talk about? What's shaking, young man?
Yeah, I just thought I'd come on and say good day to y'all.
One more time.
My face. You don't want to see this face, I tell you.
Are you got a face made for radio?
Hey, that's right. That's right.
Nice.
What do you want to comment about? What can we talk about?
I
just want to know how much for the lemon tree.
The lemon tree, man, that lemon tree is priceless. It's not to be sold.
Price, Jeff. Put a price on that thing, for God's sakes.
What about just the bucket?
The bucket.
Now that's
the bucket. Just a lemon in the bucket is right.
Well, how about if we put each one of the lemons for one. We'll sell them for a couple drops. How about that? And we'll call them lemon drops.
You just asked me, mate. Hey, Poodle, how much for the bucket? $4.
Johnny,
that's a couple of lemons.
Johnny, you got an incredible accent. Where are you calling in from?
South Africa. I'm calling from South Africa.
From where?
South Africa.
Oh, South Africa.
Yes. Have
South
you been?
Africa.
South Africa.
South Africa.
Ah.
Have you been? It's a very lovely place.
Never been to South Africa.
What are your entry points for cryptocurrencies in South Africa? Do you have an exchange down there that is nationally recognized?
Not really. Not really. We generally use CoinSpot.
Interesting. Is it something that you have to use a Visa or MasterCard, one of those rails, to actually acquire your digital asset?
No, I'm obviously not from South Africa.
Okay,
sorry.
So if you weren't pulling my leg and we had a real conversation,
no, okay. Sorry, I'm from Australia.
Oh,
He's
from down there?
mixing up his accents. Let's see. He started with his Scottish accent. And now he's South Africa and Australia.
Now we're
So
in
where's the jokester from?
Nah,
Carl
Australia.
Lewis, joke man Carl
Yes.
Lewis, all the way from Australia.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
I know.
you-
They were pretty good accent, weren't they?
hey, Johnny, do you follow that BTC markets exchange and the use of the XRP token in the Australian dollar to XRP corridor?
Nah, not really. Just basically follow whatever you guys say. You know, I just watch the show, and if you tell me I should watch this, I'll watch it. You know, like those things that that we get the wool from. That's
Sheep?
not sheep. Sheep. No, I'm more in a social interest in it, to be quite honest. I'm not really, right in depth with all the ins and outs of it, but it's, yeah, I use CoinSpot here, and there are a couple. The fees are quite high, but generally all the other ones I've looked at, the fees aren't all that different. Plus, I don't have that issue of trying to change from different sort of currencies. I can go straight in with bank deposit. I think they use Polypay and all that fun stuff. So it's easy, and I don't have to worry about all the headaches.
Got it. No, easy is good. Easy is good. So what's it like having boots on the ground there in Australia with the health crisis thing going on? Are you guys still kind of like we are on a lockdown kind of thing, or are they opening up your economy slowly? What's shaking there as you see day to day? Well,
allegedly we're in lockdown, but you wouldn't know it.
Oh.
There's sort of two sides here. You've got a lot of people that are just, you'll do as you're told, stay in, social distancing, my favourite term that I'm going to smack somebody for again. And then you've got people like myself who sort of, you don't want to take any risks. You do what you have to do. You wash your hands. And I'm an electrician, so I'm in and out of people's houses all the time. And so, it did start off where you go into a house and no one would want to touch your hands. Now people are a bit blasé about it, and it's you go to the supermarket or the parks and everyone, it's so hypocritical. I won't hold your hand, but I'll take your phone to take payment via the credit card and put my PIN number in. It's like the it's just a bit strange.
Yeah, we are. It's definitely strange times for sure. So, do you have a favorite cryptocurrency?
Of course. I'll let you guess what it is.
Care to share it with the world? Well, I would guess it's XRP because you tuned into this show, but it could be Bitcoin. It could be casino coin.
No, look, it's XRP.
Not a kid.
I have Bitcoin as a hedge, if you like. VChain. I did when I first got into it. Actually, my nephew got me into the space. He kept nagging and nagging. And the rest of the family thought he was a little bit weird, and being that I am a little bit weird, I sort of thought I better take a look at this, and I just kept doing a little bit more research until the point where I convinced myself that you had to jump in. And so I did, and then I bought a few other XRP first, and then I bought a few other cryptos, like some that you probably would laugh at now, like Self-Key and Sia Coin, and they've done nothing, basically, but I haven't had the heart to get rid of them.
Okay.
So I figured I'll just leave those there, and but yeah, mainly VChain and XRP, I think, are the way to go. And I think I jumped on the wagon with everyone else with Cardano, and I bought some Tron back in the day.
Okay.
And yeah, a few others, but Yeah, XRP is the number one.
For sure. Now, with Australia having so many bilateral trade and commerce going back and forth with Japan, do you see an interplay there? I mean, do you have any insight that we might not be getting because we're not in your shoes?
I don't think so. I think everything. I mean, I think between Oz Crypto Eddie, you guys, I think everything's pretty much played out on display for everyone to see. I don't think there's anything here. I mean, there's like, I think I've seen on Twitter the HSV ad or HBC ad for there were just some little sort of tidbits in there about XRP and Ripple being used in the background that I hadn't seen anywhere else. And then I think might have even been Simon that put it on there. But things like that, but nothing sort of groundbreaking that would blow your mind.
Right on, right on. Any parting shots? Anything you want to leave us with?
Look, I did have a few things I was going to say, but they've kind of gone by the wayside now.
That's the internet connection over in Australia.
What's that?
We were losing.
We lost him. I think we lost him.
Did we lose him? No, he's right there.
Is he? All right. Oh, we got somebody else coming in.
No?
We got iBank Freely coming on here.
All right. Well, we're gonna get to Freely in a second. Hey, Johnny Bananas, thank you for coming on the show, man.
Man, it was awesome.
It's great to have you part of the journey with us here tonight. And I'll tell you what, I know at OTC we strongly support almost everything Australian.
That's almost everything. But yeah, funny man, Carl Lewis, it was awesome to have a chance to talk to you like this. I definitely look forward to doing it again. It's outstanding.
Okay,
thanks for all the support for On the Chain.
You bet.
And he's doing a great job too.
Ciao.
Man, how do you like that?
That was something.
Here we go. Welcome. This is Mr. iBank Freely Bickerton. What's up?
How we doing, boys? All right?
We're doing good. Oh, we got another accent in the house.
Good. Yeah, everyone from the other side of the world.
Australia, dude, and
Oh, we need to. You need to pick up the volume a little.
Mas volume.
Yeah, man. I don't know how to do that, man. Like, we're
Hey,
gonna be
closer to the mic.
How we go?
Closer to the mic. Don't be afraid.
Closer to the mic.
That means you can see my ugly head a whole lot better. Yeah.
That's all right.
That's
need
okay.
to.
Hey.
A little bit louder.
Louder. Okay, hang on a sec. Oh yeah, righto.
A little better. Yep.
Yeah, man.
There we go.
A little better. I'll tell you what, I'll bring my volume down. Jeff will bring his volume down, and the folks at home can just turn their volume up just a scooch, and we'll have an equilibrium. Hey, thanks for calling in, man. What did you want to chat about tonight?
Yeah, there's like a couple of things, man. Like, one thing I've heard going around, the Bitcoin halving, right? How do we think that's going to go in the pandemic? I personally think it's going to be amplified due to the lack of precious metals being on the market, and I don't know, the artificial how do you say it? the share market, the stock and bond market. It's artificially inflated. So why would you put your money in there? So I think there's an amplification thing that's going to happen due to the lack of precious metals, hyperinflation, inflation, and all those type of things. I personally think it's going to pump. I personally think the BTC halving is going to pump. And what the other boys on the line really think they're going to what you got to say about that? We've been pumping down the vodka in lockdown, so if we're all over the joint, right? I'm telling you, mate.
That's
vodka
right.
and lockdown's not a bad mix.
That's a pretty small bottle for the lockdown.
Oh, which one?
Well, hey, you're not alone, Bank. There are a lot of folks in exactly the same corner as you, because we've got markets around the world on the precipice of collapse. I mean, there's been some breath put into the markets as of, recently, but for the most part, it looks unsustainable. You've got no correction in the debt markets, right? Corporate debt's at its highest level it's been ever. And there's no offset in the form of like putting your money into a bond and getting actual interest back on it. So there's no return. Well, of course, people are going to look to gold, and folks under 50 are looking to digital assets. So, there's a big population that is saying exactly what you're saying. Let me ask you this. Are you putting your money where your mouth is? Are you buying Bitcoin right now?
Dude, I've been trying to get some silver. I've been trying to get some gold. I'm looking at the pandemic, this, that, and the other. And I own my own company, so I don't mind having cash around. But my personal opinion is this: we got a whole lot of new investors in the crypto space, yeah, and they've all been watching YouTube, this, that, and the other. There's a whole lot of people in the space that are going to buy on the rumor and they're going to sell on the news. But I mean, we're talking Bitcoin. I'll tell you what's going to happen, and this is what is going to happen. We're going to get to the BTC halving. Everyone's going to be right. It's not going to do anything. All these guys are going to cash out. We're going to drop. I'm going to buy in like sin, and then it's going to pump. I predict after the BTC halving, we're going to have a real sorrowful 3 weeks, and then we're going to pump. 3 weeks, 2 weeks, I don't know, but it's going to pump. But after the BTC, after the halving, I expect a big drop, followed by a cracking pump, which is where I make my money. That's where
I like cracking pumps. Jeff,
that's all good.
Cracking pumps?
Oh yeah, I want to see this thing pump, and it's got to be a cracking pump if it's going to be any kind of pump. So I bank freely, Bickerton. I'm assuming that you're also over in Australia. We got a right Melbourne area. Nice. We got a whole group of people that follow On the Chain over in Australia, and we love our On the Chain family over in Australia. It's awesome. It's always good to have you guys. You guys are so far ahead. I'm looking over there, and you got the sun coming in through the window is what it looks like.
Yeah, it's pissing me off, man.
He's still got a quarter of that bottle of vodka to finish.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a quarter and a half when you look at the other empty ones laying around there.
You gotta love it.
Hey,
it's been on my mind. I'd love to get a bit of a hive mind opinion on it all. If we had an expiration date on the success of XRP, let's say, well, within X amount of time, if you guys haven't done it, someone else is gonna. You follow me? Like you get what I'm going.
Wait. I don't follow you. I need you to clarify one thing for me, because there are a ton of people that would say what Ripple's done with RippleNet, the inroads that they made, it's already a huge success. So, what is your gauge for success? What do you mean by if XRP isn't successful?
What do I mean by XRP isn't successful?
Yeah, you said if it's not successful by a certain date, what is success?
I believe that the price is a reflection of liquidity.
Okay.
Okay, so and you can't argue that if you're on a 20-cent XRP, and I'm bullish on XRP, don't get me wrong. If you got a 20-cent XRP, you're not calling that a success. When you've got a $15,000, $10,000 Bitcoin, you got Bitcoin XP. I don't even know what the price is. That's a scam. That's a take, and that's what $200-300. I don't know, but I suppose if price is a reflection of liquidity, and I know they're doing great guns, but at what point do you go, look, man, you've done this for 5 years. You've got a 30-cent XRP still. At what point do you go fail or succeed? You know what I mean?
I hear you, man. I got you. I'm feeling you. Every investor has to ask themselves that question. You know what I mean? When are you going to take your emotional biases out of the decision-making process? And, when do you say enough's enough, right? I can tell you, I haven't gotten there yet. And I've been in this game for 2 years and only had 1 day of that 2 years where my investment was profitable because of when I started paying it. No, it's the truth. I first started buying XRP in February of 2018. Dollar cost averaged my way all the way down the road and only had one day. It was in October. I remember it well. With the MoneyGram announcement, it shot up to 74 cents. And it was like, yeah. So
we got somebody else popping in here. Man, it was great to have him on, right?
Thank you for calling in, man. Thank you so much. Enjoy your vodka. Hang tough, brother, and we'll catch you next time, okay?
Yeah, cheers, boy. That's a lot of
Cheers.
fun.
All right. Now we got someone coming all the way from the deep south. We're going to have tap a line.
What's going on, guys?
Here we go.
Oh, hit us with an accent, my
What's
friend.
up?
With it. What's the good word?
All right. We got someone coming all the way from the deep south. You got to
Hey, I'm
turn
not
down
sure
the
about
audio.
the loop here, but
Hey,
you
turn
gotta
down
figure
the
this
audio
out.
over there.
With it. What's the good word?
I got a feedback here. Let me figure this out. Should I click
I'm
on
going to mute
YouTube?
and hear us. I know he can hear us because our mics aren't muted. Hey,
Right.
Ted, we need you to either put in headphones
Or
or
turn down
something
the.
because your audio is looping into the microphone back to the show. It's an old radio thing. I mean, it's been a problem in radio forever. So turn off your speakers, put on a headset or something so that we can turn your mic back on and get you involved in the conversation.
There, try it again. Try to load him in.
Jeff, you want to hit it? Just hit his mic for me. I'm
Got it.
flicking.
All right, let's see what we got.
How about that?
Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Nothing?
Now we got you.
We got you now?
Got you
Gotcha.
loud and clear.
All
How are
right.
you, man? Good to have you on the show.
All right. I don't have to look at myself as I'm talking to you. That's great.
There you go.
That's awesome, man. Where are you calling in from?
The old
Down in
North State, North Carolina, friend of
nice.
XRP Carolina.
Oh, nice. Real nice.
I'm going to give you a little toast here, having a little North Carolina whiskey tonight.
Oh,
Nice.
is that a
Oh,
little
I like that.
yourself?
Distilled in the Carolinas.
That's right. Hey guys, I want to talk to you about this happening. My son, he's 21 now, but about 2 years ago, when we got into Bitcoin, and at the time we were looking at XRP, and he finally understand about the XRP and how XRP is a set number. But at that time, he had said to me, so it was about 2 years ago, that after the halving, nothing really happens. But over the years, after the halving, about 6 months later, it takes off. And I was like, man, you mean to tell me we got to wait 2 years? And he says, that's how it always happens, Dad. So I really think we're going to see nothing really. But if we go by the last things that have happened in the past, it's going to be about 6 months, and then it's going to take off again. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, there's a case to be made there. Historically, you're correct, with some fluctuations, because there's been 3 of these already. The interesting element when you're looking at a set of a finite number of something, the entire argument for scarcity comes into play. Now,
yes, I agree.
As scarcity meets reality, and in this environment, it's really hard to play what's going to happen. I mean, this is from what I'm seeing. You've got investors all over the world getting out of bond positions, equity positions, and stockpiling cash. Now, how are they going to deploy that capital? I think a lot of people are waiting to see what the next 6 months are going to look like. Now, from an investor standpoint, you don't have to know anything about Bitcoin. You don't have to know anything about anything. If you have an investor's mindset and you look at, okay, what's been this asset's performance over this period of time? Bitcoin leads the way by far. There's no asset on the planet that can touch Bitcoin from a year-over-year appreciation percentage.
Right. And everything you said, I would agree with. And I would say that this is unique because all the last halvenings, there wasn't this internet thing about it. So you can't really say, because remember, at the last bull run, we didn't have all the infrastructures that we had.
Right.
So yes, it could be different this time, but it's really, well, it's hard for me to get excited today because I'm looking at what happened in the past. But yes, I am dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin because we all know that there's going to be, I have a Bitcoin mining machine and I'm going to unplug it. I'm not going to mine when that happens because it's not going to pay for it.
Right.
So there's going to be a scarcity that's created automatically. And I'm going to mine other things. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to figure out something else to do with that. And there's thousands of guys like me. And
Sure,
I'm
that's
just
interesting.
I'm a grain of sand. I'm not even, I'm nobody.
That's
You know what I'm
really
saying?
interesting. Have you been mining Bitcoin this whole time, or have you unplugged during the down period?
Plug back up. Well, I've unplugged, plug back up, unplugged, plug back up. I've actually mined some Digibyte with the machine, and I've, it's back and forth, because if you mine a little bit of you mine a little bit of Bitcoin, you mine a little bit of Bitcoin. I mean, we all want as much as we can get, right? I mean, we're not going to throw it away. And I'm an XRP maximalist. Let's get this out on the table, guys.
Okay.
Everybody watching me the line, Ted Smith on Twitter is an XRP maximalist, but I'm no fool. I'm not a dummy. Well, I guess I am a dummy, but anyway, I'm not a fool. I mean, I want to get a little bit of Bitcoin in me because, I mean, you're a fool. If you get Bitcoin, you're a fool not to get it.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
Can I bring up a subject in the conversation? And if you don't like it, you can say we don't want to talk about it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
The subject is the YouTube issue that we're having, and this has affected the XRP community. And there's other opportunities. There's a BitChute. There's Library Coin, which you can sign on. It's so much faster. I upload on my Tapline account. I upload videos on a regular basis, and I'm not promoting the Tapline account. I mean, I had an account 10 years ago on YouTube that has 2,000 or 3,000 followers, which was a lot back then. But I just do it just to talk to my friends to upload. But it takes I call YouTube the Bitcoin of the world, and I call Library Coin the XRP, but it's so fast. And there's BitChute, and there's Cinnamon, which runs on XRP. And what's the other one? The other opportunity? Oh man, I can't believe this. But what I was going to bring up, this is what I want to bring the conversation up, is that everybody listening to this podcast or this live stream, think about ways that you can use blockchain XRP and not use the YouTubes of the world. I love YouTube, but they don't really love us. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. They don't really love what we're doing. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
We just got censored. No, that's a great point. I want to give some feedback on that because what we're seeing right now is the fact that there's going to be a big case to be made that YouTube is actually a public utility, and we're going to see a change in how things are handled because right now, whether it's Twitter, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Facebook, they're all making decisions on whose voice gets heard. And so some of it is automatically done. We've seen that happen with AI is going through and automatically scrubbing people's content, blocking people's content. But we're seeing more and more, especially right now, that they're actually censoring people's speech. And that's got to come to an end. Now, the question is whether or not people flee to another platform or we try to take the platform that's first in, because you have the majority of the people are on this platform right now. Going to a library, it's interesting because, and we've talked about this a lot, but all of our videos from this channel go over to library automatically. And so you can see everything there, but the question is, how many people are actually engaged on library? I don't think a lot of people are using it, and that's the biggest problem. So if you look at London Real, Brian Rose, he's now started the London Real Army. Well, I don't know if he started, but it's been started. And people are going in support of him, but they're building their own platform right now. And again, part of the
put the link in the conversation. Put
What's
the link
that?
into the link of what you were just talking about. Put that link into the live stream so we can get tapped into that, because we're looking for these things.
Yeah, so there's a lot of that going on. Well, I'll pull that up here. I'll put it in there in a minute, but it's crazy because the question is, do we flee or do we keep keeping the voice alive on this platform, because it is the accepted platform right now globally, and we don't want to run away to our isolated walled gardens. That's the whole idea. And we need to fight for it. But and it's I think it's a difficult battle, definitely a difficult uphill battle as they squash our freedoms of speech.
Exactly. I would agree with you 100%. Is that we can't flee YouTube because that's where everybody's at.
Exactly.
But we really need to focus on trying to build. And I've been looking at some Sygnum stuff. And what's the other one? There's another one that's on the XRP.
Oh, there's
blockchain.
Contentos.
Yeah, we need to
it's Contentos.
Well, we need to support those and realize that they're there. And I applaud you for doing some library. And now there's DLive. There's several others.
Yep.
And I'm not saying to support them because you don't want to be part of the government or this or that, but I'm saying you want to support them because they're a blockchain. Because they are you and me. They are our friends. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed, 100%.
So,
yeah.
I'm uploading stuff to. Does that make sense? You see where I'm coming from? It's a family.
100%.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I agree. It'd be great to have everything move over there. And that's what Brian Rose is working on their own. They're building a new blockchain platform for their content so they don't get censored anymore. And then people, it's good when you have big followings, but I agree 100%. If there was a good platform where we can move to that was blockchain, decentralized to but still self-regulated by the people on the channel.
Yes.
I think because you don't want a free for all either. It gets out of control. But
we don't want crazy porn stuff and crazy this and crazy that. That's not what you and we don't want that stuff. We just want information and a way to support the new decentralized ideas. And it basically, if we can't figure out how to do this on YouTube or taking videos, then how are we going to figure out how to do this on sending you $10,000? You see what I'm saying? Is that?
Yeah. No, it makes a lot of sense.
XRP doing, it's kind of
it's incremental.
If we believe what we believe. Yes.
Yeah, what do you think, Jerry?
Hey guys, I really, 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 really appreciate what you're doing. The HODL review, a lot of monies I've come up and I've been working and I've worked late the night before and I've signed on to you and you've brightened my day and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna make it through today. It's gonna be okay. And I've signed on and I've tapped, but I'm on the road a lot. I'm really travel a lot and I do a lot of stuff. I work a lot, but I'm always watching YouTube videos. I'm always, if you're putting a video up, I'm watching it. I'm driving down the road, but I can't type in. But when I'm at home, I'm typing in.
That's awesome.
I am in the banking industry, and they are not shaken but they are looking at what you're doing every single day. And in fact, one of my customers, who is a multi-million-dollar international customer, is involved in XRP, and they are using XRP. And this was back in February when I found out about it. They didn't tell anybody, and I was actually at a meeting with them, and they didn't say a word. And then at their report, they said, "Oh, by the way, we're using XRP and da 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 da." And I was like, "I knew you were. I knew you were from what you were saying." So it's happening, but it's slow. It's slow.
Takes time.
I'll go to meetings. Yeah. I go to meetings. Actually, at that meeting, they were saying, "Oh, we need to work on this and this," and I was like, "Well, XRP can solve that. DigiByte can solve that. Bitcoin can solve that." And so they see what can be solved, but they're slow. I mean, they're so slow. So, but you and I, none of us in this room that are listening to this video, we're not slow. We want it now.
That's
We
right.
have to slow down and relax and say, let's have us a North
All
Carolina
right.
whiskey together
Hey, Tap.
All right.
You,
Cheers.
and relax.
Thanks
Cheers,
for coming.
guys. You have a
Cheers.
great night.
Hey, it was great. It was great having you on.
XRP
Appreciate you.
Carolina.
Yeah.
Johnny, we love you all. Hey, peace out, guys.
Good night,
All right.
Tap.
Oh man.
Oh man, what a
Holy
neat
cow.
guy. What a neat guy. There's
Oh,
a
man.
lot of things we can do to support the progress that we want to have happen. When mass adoption will happen, that's anybody's game. I don't make a lot of money. I live on a very small amount, but you know what? I do eke out a $5 subscription to Coil every month. And I love it when one of the YouTubers that I follow has their YouTube channel Coil enabled. I may not be able to send a super chat. I may not be able to send super stickers. I'd like to, but I'm just not financially in that place. But when I'm watching their video, they're getting streamed micro payments. Will that take off? I don't know. I like the tech. I hope it happens. Jeff, your thoughts as we close this thing out?
Man, I agree. I agree. Little by little, things are going to make some big momentum, big waves, big progress. But it takes time. Anything great takes time to build. That foundation is being laid nice. And you get a solid foundation. You've been in construction. When you build on that solid foundation, you're going to have a solid structure. So you don't have a good foundation, forget about it. So that's I'm excited about it. Yeah, I'm excited every day. So man, Jerry, this was awesome. This was a great stream tonight. Really appreciate it. Jerry Hall, everybody. Market Conversations, episode number 2.
Episode number 2. We're going to come right back at you, XRP Carolina and myself, next Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Look forward to seeing you there. And I'll say this on behalf of the entire OTC family. Thank you all who subscribe to our OTC Live channel, our OTC Standard channel, who have put your email address at the onthechain.io to get the newsletter. Thank you for your support. Appreciate it very much. And we look forward to continuing this crypto journey with you. So until next time, everybody. Pura Vida. Hit it, Jeff.
See you later.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.